I'm Sari Kimbell, and I've done just about everything in the food industry. I have helped hundreds of packaged food business entrepreneurs, and now I want to help you make your delicious dream a reality. Whether you want to be successful at farmers markets, online, or wholesale onto store shelves, food business success is your secret ingredient. I will show you how to avoid an expensive hobby and instead run a profitable food business. Now let's jump in. Welcome back to the podcast. I'm so happy you're here with me today, and this is a good one. Not only are we going to talk about confidence and your self-confidence and why it's so important, but I seriously have the answer. I have the hack that has helped me to increase my self-confidence over the years and put myself out there in bigger ways. And I am using it with my current clients I am coaching, and the transformation has been unbelievable. Truly, truly unbelievable. I'm in awe. It's so awesome to watch my clients use this tool and transform their lives and their businesses. So if you feel like you need to increase your confidence, keep listening. Before I jump into that, I wanted to just tell you thank you for everyone who has given me some great feedback on the When Bad Things Happen podcast. I've heard some more horror stories and definitely some examples of when bad things happen. I had a client who had flooding in her office, and there was all these things going on. She's like, I listened to that podcast and it was so helpful. And I will tell you, if the sounds a little bit different, yesterday I hit my toe on the corner of the wall and I really thought it was broken. Been having trouble walking, very painful. Went to the doctor and today got in on a Saturday morning. They did x-rays. It's not broken, so that is great news, but definitely not exactly what I would have wished for my weekend by any means. So I am laid up right now on my couch recording this podcast with some ice on my poor toe. And so I know that this room is a little bit more echoey than normal, but that's okay. We're just going to keep going because life happens, and that's how we do it. We just keep moving forward. I went to the dictionary and wanted to get a definition first of confidence. And really, we're talking about self-confidence here. But it's the feeling or belief that one can rely on someone or something, a firm trust. And of course, when we're talking about self-confidence, then it's a trust and a belief in our own abilities and qualities, and we have a trust in ourselves, right? So that is what self-confidence is. And I want you to think about who you see in your world, who you believe has confidence, and what are those attributes about them that you really admire? What do you wish you had more of for you? I also want to point out that confidence is a feeling. It is a feeling that drives action. And a couple episodes there was the Why Feelings Matter and how to use your feelings for your advantage podcast. And that's exactly what we're talking about here. This is going to blow your mind a little bit. But confidence does not come from your result. What? It's not like once you're a successful business owner, now you have confidence that you are a successful business owner. You actually have to generate the confidence ahead of time in order to create the action required for you to go out and do the thing that you want to do. And this comes from our thoughts. Our thoughts are what create our feelings, which create our actions, which create the result that we are going for. And I will do a whole episode on what I call the model. And this is the foundation of what I use in my business coaching practice. But let's just talk a little bit more about building your self-confidence. So if you think about doing something that you have never done before, which is probably where you're at right now with starting a packaged food business. Many of my clients have never been an entrepreneur. They work full-time jobs. They're in other professions. They've never been in the food industry. So this is a completely new experience. And so it's understandable that their confidence in their abilities to have a successful packaged food business would not be that high. However, I want you to really be honest with yourself and say, where is my self-confidence in my abilities to figure it out? Because that's really the root problem here. The root issue is that wherever you're at, whatever you're doing, if your self-confidence is low in other areas of your life, then it's going to translate over when you go to start a business, when you go to be an entrepreneur. So that is why it is so, so important to increase our self-confidence. I have really vivid memories actually as a kid. This would be in the early 80s, learning how to ride a bike. And that is something I'm sure many of you can relate. When you start to ride a bike, you have never ridden a bike before, right? And I remember training wheels. I remember getting this awesome purple banana seat bike. It had purple sparkles on this giant banana seat, and it totally had like the trucker handlebars and that whole deal. So fun. I'll see, maybe I can find a photo. That would be hilarious. But I remember, working obviously with the training wheels, building, increasing my confidence in riding a bike. And then there was the moment, right, when the training wheels came off, and I definitely remember crashing. I remember my dad, running alongside of me, holding the bike up, telling me to pedal. And I remember falling a number of times. And this is like before helmets too, which is so crazy to think about. Me in the cul-de-sac, like just falling over. No guards, no helmets, no nothing. It really was, how increasing my confidence in myself and my abilities that I could figure it out. I didn't have confidence about riding a bike that came from riding a bike because I hadn't actually done it yet. I had to generate feelings of confidence and self-confidence ahead of time, that I would keep doing it no matter what. I would keep practicing. I would keep trying. I wouldn't give up, right? That there was commitment there. There was discipline there, which is exactly, if we just translate that to where you are now with starting a packaged food business, that is the key right there. It is through discipline. When I gave you the definition, it was about a firm trust in your own abilities. And I wonder, what is your relationship? What is your trust like with yourself in all areas of your life? Whether that's your physical health, your relationships, your kids, your self-care, your mental health, your spiritual life, all of it. What is the level of trust that you have in yourself and you to follow through? And often, if we think back to that moment, you probably have had more than one of these moments, right? It's kind of like that New Year's resolution moment where you're like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to start my business, or I'm going to run a marathon, or I'm going to lose weight, right? We make that declaration. But inside, most of the time, we know that is a little bit of a false promise to ourselves that we're not really most likely going to follow through. And we start out really excited and we're going to try a new program or do something new, right, to help us with that. Inside, I bet you could identify like a lack of trust in yourself, which is ultimately, that is the low confidence that you do not follow through, that you do not honor your word, that this bold declaration of I'm going to do this is not really that strong of a commitment, which is why I have a podcast on why you need a compelling reason, because this is what's going to also help you get through the tough times. So go back and listen to that one as well. That when things get hard, which they will, and things get boring and things get confusing and things get challenging, that the option to quit is there, right? And so you kind of go in already not committed, which is not going to help anything. What I see most often is that you guys have complete confidence in your product. 100%. Like you are like, I trust my product. I rely on this. I have a firm trust in this. But what you don't have a trust in is yourself and your abilities, right? And so I will work with people and we will get that product created. Like we will get it branded. We will get it in packaging. We'll figure out the manufacturing, the licenses, all of the how, right? All of the pieces that need to go into it. And then I literally have been working with clients and I'm like, okay, here's all the tools you need. You have everything you need to be successful. You have a sell sheet. You know your pricing, your margins. You have a great product. Like you have it all. And I literally have had people tell me, I'm too scared to go and approach a buyer. I'm too scared. I don't have the confidence to do the next thing. And I get it. It can be scary. But what if you knew that you could figure it out, that you had self-confidence that you could borrow from elsewhere in your life that would say, I will get through this. Even if I don't know how to approach a buyer, I will take the necessary action, right? I will think about thoughts that create confidence in my life, and then I will take the action to go and approach the buyer. And is it going to be perfect the first time? No, of course not. But are you going to die from it? No. You will, if you have self-confidence, you will pick yourself back up, you will learn from it, and you will keep going. So how do we increase confidence? It comes through discipline. And I'm so curious when you hear that word discipline, what you think about it. Is it a negative word to you? Do you have negative associations or do you have positive associations with it? I have a little bit of both, honestly. In my past, I've definitely considered myself a rebel and like, I don't want to go with the flow. I want to like challenge the status quo. And so I kind of think of discipline in a negative way in that sense for me, in my experience. And I definitely resisted doing this work. And I will tell you, because I thought, well, discipline just seems so boring. Like, I don't know. Like, I feel like you're not a unique individual. You just feel like you're going with the pack, right? And what I learned as I did this work is that discipline gives me freedom. It doesn't constrain me. It actually gives me more freedom, more ability to create and to be more me, to be the me that I want to be, not what society tells me I should be. And so there's people you probably look at, like, let's just say it's the Olympics right now, right? Like you look at Olympic athletes and you probably consider them very disciplined. And because of that discipline, they are able to achieve amazing things, right? They are able to flip and tumble and run and swim and do all of these things that are like beyond the abilities of most of us. And that has come from discipline. Now, there was a time when they did not know how to do those things, so they couldn't necessarily just rely on the proof, the evidence of doing the thing to create the confidence. No, they had to start with that feeling of confidence and start increasing it in other areas of their life. And when you think about discipline, a lot of times we think about willpower. And it's so fascinating because willpower is a muscle. Discipline is a muscle that we can increase in our lives. It is not a fixed thing. Like, you are not just born with a certain amount of willpower. But that said, you only have so much willpower in a day. And there are lots of really fascinating studies that show that, your willpower is strongest in the beginning of the day, and then you're going to slowly use it up over the day, which is why in the evening, even though you've told yourself you will not eat that bag of cookies or that chocolate bar, you end up doing it. You're like, why did I do that? But it's because you've used up your willpower throughout the day. How do we increase that? How do we increase our discipline? It comes through creating rules and making decisions ahead of time. And if you just cringed a little bit when I said creating rules, like I said, I get you. I've been there. And I am the poster child for somebody who resisted doing this for a long time. And honestly, I was not living the life that I knew was possible, of a life that I was capable of, a life of bigger, of more, because I was unwilling to create rules for myself, not from anybody else. It wasn't about society's rules, it was about rules for myself. But until I was able to create rules and make decisions ahead of time, I was living a much smaller life. And you are too. But if you cringed at that, I just want you to think, is it working for you now? And do you have what you want to have, the life you want to have, the business you want to have? If you don't, would you be willing to give this a try? Right? What's that definition of insanity? That it's just you doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. So would you be willing to try something new? Try something different? Just humor me. All right, I know you guys are waiting. You're like, just tell us already, Sari, what this is. Help me increase my self-confidence. All right, I'm going to lay it on you. So I got this from my coach, Dave Moreno, and I actually just interviewed him for the podcast. So he will be on in a couple of weeks, which will be really fun for you to hear our conversation. And I will just tell you that this tool has changed my life. It has changed my business. It has changed everything. And it's called Badass 30. And, I thought about trying to come up with a better name or a different name. Frankly, there is no better name for it. I love it. I love that you will become a certified badass. And this isn't about faking it till you make it. That is the opposite of this. This is about creating true badass self-confidence from the inside that you can withdraw upon, that you can use as you start and grow your packaged food business. So here's what a Badass 30 looks like. There are 5 rules that you are going to choose. Nobody else is going to choose them for you. These are self-directed. You are going to decide on 5 rules for your life that you are going to do every single day for the next 30 days. They should be challenging, but not difficult. And I'm going to give you some examples. So they should be things that push you a little out of your comfort zone, that are things that aren't just like eat breakfast or drink coffee, go to the bathroom, right? They're not things that you just do out of habit. This is actually a great tool to create new habits, but this is creating confidence because we are creating integrity and honor and we are increasing our discipline. What's so awesome is the way that this will transfer over to every area of your life. All right, so let me give you some examples and tell you a little bit more about how it works. And you can go to foodbizsuccess.com/badass30 and you can grab the rules and a little overview and the tracking worksheet. So you can track it on your own, and then we'll also provide some extra accountability inside the private Facebook group. You're going to choose 5 rules. There are 4 buckets you're going to choose from. So you get like a bonus wild card 1, 2. So you're going to choose an activity that you're going to do every day. This is not a 5-day-a-week thing. This is a 7-day-a-week thing. So the first one is your mental health, your well-being. So that could be, I'm going to meditate for 10 minutes every day. Like set a minimum baseline. And if you already consistently meditate for 10 minutes a day, don't choose that. Either increase the time or choose something new, something to add. For me, some examples have been meditation, but also getting up and writing for 20 minutes a day or 30 minutes a day, making that a daily habit. Other things have been around clients who have, they're going to pray every day, or they're going to read out of the Bible or out of a self-help personal development book a certain number of minutes every day. It could be listening to personal development podcasts. So it's anything that's going to help with sort of your personal mental well-being. The next bucket is going to be your health. So something around your physical health. So it could be activity related. I've had clients do, I'm going to take a 20-minute walk every day, or I'm going to exercise for a minimum of 10 minutes or some baseline. Now remember, this is every day. So don't say I'm going to run 4 miles every day when that's, you're not even walking for 20 minutes, right? So don't make it something that you can't achieve, that's not possible, but do challenge yourself to grow, to add something new in, to expand the time. It could be that you are going to drink a certain amount of water every day. I had a client do a green drink that she was trying to drink every day. So she made that part of her Badass 30. It could be, I have done things like following a food protocol or a drink protocol, that every day, 24 hours in advance, I write down what I'm going to eat or drink the following day. It could be that you're going to follow a certain kind of diet, right? Keto or paleo or something like that. Or you're going to track your calories and your macros. So anything in the sort of health, your physical health category is great. Then you want to choose relationships. So something around your relationships. I've had clients choose things like, I'm going to tell my partner how much I appreciate him or her every day, or say something kind every day. When I did this exercise, actually, when I first started working with my coach, Dave, this was the first thing we did. It was actually a mastermind group, so we were doing it as a group. And like I said, I really resisted this for a long time. I knew about, he had shared this with me on a podcast, and I had not done it. It was right, early pandemic. And so for my relationship, I chose that every day I'm going to reach out to a loved one and just tell them I love them and how grateful I am for them. And that could be a text, it could be a phone call, it could be a video, whatever it was, right? That I was spending some amount of energy just connecting with friends and family and making that effort to reach out. Another one I did actually, which would probably be more in either probably in the health maybe, was, or we'll call it a wild card, was I would get up at, I really wanted to have more time for a morning practice. And I've talked to you guys about my morning practices of writing and reading and meditating. But I would get up at 5:30 on weekdays and be out of bed by 5:30, or 7 o'clock on weekends. So I set that rule with a little bit, difference, but like every day I had to be out of bed by a certain time. All right, so relationships is what I was talking about. So it could be something with your kids, it could be something with your spouse, your friends, your family, your parents, whomever, right? Even your relationship with yourself. There's lots of work that can be done with our relationship with ourselves. So choose something in that category. And then the fourth bucket is your business. Choose something around your business. It could be something around money. I've had people do gratitude lists, like I'm going to write a gratitude list for money every day. Or generosity, honestly. I mean, if you want to expand your ability to receive, start doing random acts of generosity every day. It could be listening to a business podcast or a book. It could be doing a belief plan every day. There's a podcast on that. It could be doing a social media. I have done, it wasn't part of a Badass 30, but I have encourage some of my clients to commit to a reel challenge for a Badass 30, that for 30 days they're going to post a reel. And wow, think about what would happen if you posted every day on social media, how much you could increase your following, all of the things that you could do if you made that effort every single day. So social media has definitely been one, but remember, it is an everyday thing. So don't make it difficult, but do make it challenging. And, there's only one business, or you could choose two if you want to, but, if you don't have time, if you're just starting a business, you're growing your business, if you don't have time to do, 30 minutes for your business every day, well, I encourage you to do so. And this is your opportunity to step into being that kind of a business owner. All right, so you're going to choose 5 things out of those 4 buckets. So you're going to set up your rules ahead of time. And then you are going to make the commitment, I'm going to start on this day, right? Whatever day that is. And don't wait until the first of the month. Like, just do it. I don't care if it's a Monday or a Friday. Like, there's no special magic about a Monday or the first of the month. That is just frankly our way of like procrastinating. And it probably really doesn't get us very far. So do this anytime. Don't wait for a special day. So you're making decisions ahead of time. We are creating constraint. We are creating discipline. And you want to think through, there may be some days where you're traveling and this is going to be more challenging than others. So think through it and think about strategies ahead of time of how you will overcome that. All right, so here's the deal. You have these 5 things. You have 30 days. Every day you're going to write on the worksheet you get, there's a grid, so you can write a W. Or if you fail to do one of those things, any one of those things, you get a loss for the day. So you could do all the others, but you forgot to tell your spouse something nice. If you miss that day, then you start over. Completely start over. Not just pick back up where you left off, but if you had done 15 days, then day 16 is a loss. It goes in as an L. Loss 1. You start back over with W1, win 1. So you have to have 30 consecutive days. Now, I will tell you that I did this, and I have seen clients do this, that at first, the first one you do of these, you might be tempted to make your 5 a little bit easier so that you can rig the game so that you can win. And I'm honestly fine with that. I did it. I see my clients do it. I get it. we want that win, right? I will say that I have gotten more out of doing Badass 30 on the times when I lose and then start over and finish than on the ones where I just breeze through. I want you to be really on to yourself if you're going to try to make these so easy that it's like an easy win. So choose things, do your best to choose things that will challenge you but aren't extremely difficult. I remember after I did the first one, and I really was so proud of myself. And it was so cool because we were in a group, we were in a Facebook group, and every day people would write in W1, W2, W20, and then there would be those losses, right? L1. And when you had a loss, you had to say, what did you learn from it? What are you going to do differently? No problem. There's no judgment here. You're not a bad person. In fact, I would say there's actually more learning and growth that happens in the losses, like I said. So if you want to participate, go over to the private Facebook group for Food Business Success, and we will be starting next week. So I want you to have a little time to plan, and then we're going to get started on the following Monday. And I know I just said Mondays don't mean anything, but we got to start at some point. So we'll just do it on a Monday. So I would love for you to join us because there's so much that you can get out of having accountability, of sharing your win and your loss, of having people root you on and cheer you on. Can you picture yourself at the end of 30 days and who you would become from that? Think about if you had 5 things that would move you forward, that would propel you, that things that you were so proud of that you did 30 days in a row, and the compounding effect of that, whether it be exercise or eating better or the relationship around you or your business. You are going to have the benefit of completing those 5 things and the benefits of what it brings to you for doing that. And this is why it all ties into self-confidence. There is a strategic byproduct that happens when you show up for yourself, when you accomplish these things and you have 30-day track record. That is the magic of Badass 30. I want you to join us on the Badass Wall of Fame. I have seen the transformation in my clients, in myself, in people around me who have done this. I promise you, it works. And what if, just humor me on this, what if the success you want, your big goal a year from now, 5 years from now, what if it was made up of small increments of 30 days at a time of you being a certified badass? What if it was built on you transforming, becoming the person who makes $500,000 a year in sales, growing a business to that level? What if it's just made up of 150 or whatever number that is, badasses in a row? What if? Would you be willing to do that? I don't know that that's 100%. I remember asking my coach that very question. So are you telling me if I just strung together all of these over time, I could create the big goal I have for my business? He's like, yeah. What if that was possible? What if you believe that? How would you show up differently? What would change in your life? Who would you need to become? And I will tell you from personal experience, I am on that journey to become that person. And I have watched my clients become that person that they need to be in order to achieve the results, to build the self-confidence. They can take that confidence from achieving those 5 things and transfer it to creating a business. It is amazing. I want to invite you, I want to challenge you, I want to implore you to join us to become a badass by doing this work. What do you have to lose? Failure? We all know that success is built on tiny failures, on the small failures, failing forward. So why not do it on purpose? I will tell you that I had one, I think it was my second Badass 30, working with my coach. And I was like, okay, I took a couple of weeks off and I was like, all right, I'm ready to do another one. Let's do this. Let's really either solidify that habit or layer in something new. And I layered in something new that was challenging, really challenging for me. And I've shared a little bit, but it was around my drinking. And I wanted to have a drink plan for every day that I set ahead of time, and I followed through. So I made decisions. I made a decision ahead of time, and then I needed to commit to it, right? And it ended up taking me 90 days to do 30 days in a row. And I'm so grateful that I did that. I'm so grateful to myself that I was willing to keep going, to fail. I get to like day 18 and then, something would happen and I would drink more than what I wrote the previous day, or someone would come into town and, I had to rely on willpower. At that point, I wasn't honoring my word. And eventually I kept at it and I kept saying, okay, what am I going to do differently? How am I going to change this? And as I started really building integrity with myself, that what I say 24 hours in advance is what I do, and that failure was no big deal. I could do failure. I could keep picking myself back up. I could keep trying. That is what this is all about. It really changed me. It changed my brain. And it has changed the trajectory of my life and my business. And now I have so much more trust in myself that when I say I will do something the next day or the next week, it happens. Imagine if you did everything that you say you want to do and you follow through with yourself, whether it be about your business or your health or your relationships. So much of our failures are a lack of us following through with what we say we will do, right? Whether that's running a marathon, losing weight, or starting a business. It's that joke of like, everybody starts out strong, right? At New Year's. And then I think, what is it like after the first 2 weeks, most people have given up. That's not what a badass does. A badass commits and they go all in. They create discipline and they pick themselves up when they fail and they keep going. That, my friends, is how we increase your confidence. And in 30 days, you too can call yourself a MF badass. Until next time, have an amazing week.
Are you ready to start that delicious idea that you make in your home kitchen, or grow your existing packaged food business and take it to the next level? The most successful food business entrepreneurs have support, guidance, focus, and accountability to help them make it happen quickly without wasting time or money. Plus, I think starting your packaged food business should actually be fun. Food business success is your secret ingredient to creating your food business dream. Please don't go this alone. Check out the private free Food Business Success Facebook group to connect with other foodpreneurs, get your questions answered quickly, share your wins, and receive special training and tools I only share inside the private community. Just search for Food Business Success on Facebook or get the link in the show notes. Curious about how Food Business Success can help you? Head over to foodbizsuccess.com and fill out the application to see if you're a great fit for the program. Together, let's make your food business dream a reality.